We're going to talk now about the sequencer. I'm not a huge sequencer user myself. I tend to be a hand-related player, but I have to admit, again, with this instrument, the sequencer is over the top. It's totally insane. Okay, to access the sequencer, all you have to do, and it's not really evident. Like initially, I was like, wait, where is the sequencer? How does this whole thing work? So interface-wise, it's a little subtle, but it's really simple. Okay, shift, arpeggiator, sequencer on. We're now in the sequencer. So if we want to record a sequence, we have two ways of doing it. There's either real time or there is step, of course. So if we wanted to record something step, you would make sure that the play is not happening. And well, first of all, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There are two sequences in this thing, and both of them are the length that you set in the utility for the preset. I think it's currently set to 16, but I don't think we're going to go all the way to 16. But it seems to take up the slack if you don't fill up all the steps. I think that's what happens. Anyway, so there are two sequences, A and B, and both of them are the length set in the utility. And you can access both of them at any given time. Some of the functionality, like the motion sequencing that takes place, there's only one set of motion sequencing for both sequences, so your motion sequencing affects both sequences, which can make some really cool and bizarre outcomes. But, okay, so the first thing we need to do is decide what sequence we're going to record. And I have it set to A. You can see there's A, B. These are also the sequencer controls, and it's a little bit subtle. You have the fancy sort of arpeggiator related icons, and then down below in the little corner, you have the sequencer setting. So A, B, record, and play stop. Also over here, hold and tie rest. We'll get to that. Actually, it's all tie rest, not hold. So let's just step record a sequence. So I'm going to show you a number of things all simultaneously. Let's go to record. Okay, then we see here it says step 1. It tells us what step we're on. It tells us, it says we have, I guess we're set to 16 right now. Okay, that's better than 64. That'll make it a lot easier. Okay, so now if you play a note, it'll advance to the next step. It's super convenient. So the first note I'm going to play is this D. Okay, now we're on to step 2. You can see it's on to step 2. One thing I want to point out about this sequencer is I can decide whatever octave I want to place a note. So like we have these 2 octaves we're currently in. If I want another D 2 octaves down, I can do this. And then I can press this D. And then I can go back and then press some note here, like let's say this C, and it will remember what octave you played. It actually remembers the velocity with which you're hitting. So I'm not taking advantage of that, but if I was, it would remember that as well. So, well, when I say velocity, I mean, of course, pressure, or most accurately, surface area. But all of that's being recorded. If we want a step to have no data on it, right now I would just press the tie rest. It will advance to the next step, and that step will be silent. If I want to tie 2 steps together, we use that same button, but if you press it while you're holding a note, it will tie that note to the next step and then move on to the next step after that. So, and now we're on to step 7. We just skipped 6, we skipped 6, which now has a tie to 5, and we're on to 7. So we can just continue doing our thing. And that's our sequence. Let's hear it. And of course you can set the speed you want it to play back at. That was super simple recording steps, but I didn't do something that is really cool, and we're going to get right into it. It seems like a thing I should wait until the end to really talk about, but I'm going to talk about it right now because it's relevant. You have 4 different modulation tracks that you can make use of, which is to say you can choose a knob, 4 different knobs, and basically program their settings throughout the sequence. In the step sequence, you can do that by going to a step. Let's go back to that. I think we can do it here. Okay, we're on step 1. We could go to, well, first of all, let's stop this. Let's choose a different type of oscillator so it'll be really wacky. Let's go to wavetable. Oh, that's the other thing. You can play the sequence, and I will demonstrate that. Here, let's actually demonstrate that right now first. Let me go back to something that sounds normal. So when the sequence is off, you can activate the sequence by pressing the keys. And so then you can actually move it around pitch-wise. And of course, you can press hold. Oh, no, you can't. And so then if you want to, you can also play along with your own sequence. So like I'm going to put this into paraphonic, and then we're going to play the sequence, and I'll be able to play over the top of it. And see, by switching the octaves, it doesn't change, it doesn't change the sequence, but it does change your performance. So those are 2 cool things. But if we go into the steps, let's get to these modulation tracks. So I press record. We are on step 1. Oh, I know why I did this. Man, I'm just confusing myself. But this is what happens when I demonstrate sequencers almost exclusively. People often say, dude, your sequencer videos, come on. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Anyway, so let's go to a different type of oscillator where we can really hear wacky differences. And that's, I skip it. The wavetable one has vast changes that take place. So we can do something where, what does this sound like right now? Let's hear it. Okay, so now it sounds like this. And if we want to go in and have a different setting for each one of those steps, you have 4 different choices. You can use 4 different knobs and change those knobs over time during the sequence. And you can save a different setting for each of those knobs per step if you do the step setting thing that I'm about to do. So let's do that. Let's hit record. Okay, we're on step 1. I'm going to do that. And then we can advance to step 2 using this if I'm not correct. If I'm correct. And then let's make another change. And then let's go on to step 3. Step 4. Now that might be one of our silent steps. Okay, let's hear what we have done. I'm already like, oh wow, this is cool. It's so stupid. I'm so weird about it. Okay. So we can do the same thing with multiple functions. I'm going to be inclined to, at least for this one, let's do one more modulation track. And this time I'm going to just go for the timbre. So we'll press record. We're starting on step 1. And then this isn't going to make a huge difference. It's still just going to sound like different timbres each step, but you know, come on. Maybe we'll skip a few. All right, that should do something. Let's have a listen. Okay, I could listen to that forever. I mean, it's really a cool thing. If we want to, now, if you take one setting and you gradually increase it and gradually decrease it per step, you will get those stepped increases, because it's like it goes to value, next value, which is kind of a stepped thing. It's kind of what we're getting right now. But if you go into your utility, you can purportedly, I've never done this, so we'll see how good I am. You can go in and find sequence smoothing. Aha, sequence smooth. And then it wants to know if you want it on. And I guess you say yes. It's my understanding that you can do it per modulation track, but maybe we're on 1 right now. Oh, I bet that's what it is. And then 2. So I've smoothed 1. I have not smoothed 2. So let's hear what happens. Well, that is an unexpected result, but interesting. Let's try smoothing 2. I guess you can do this while it's playing. So that is one way to record a sequence.